The sun was setting over the alien world of Zorelia. The sky turned soft shades of purple and gold. Strange birds flew over glowing trees. The air was calm. In the middle of this peaceful world stood a beautiful palace, tall and shining with silver towers. Around the palace were large gardens filled with glowing blue flowers, red crystal bushes, and floating pollen like soft fireflies. A young human named Liam worked in those gardens, wore simple clothes, his hands covered in dirt. He was not a soldier or a diplomat. He was just a gardener. A quiet, kind man from Earth who came with a peace group years ago when humans helped the Zerli Empire win a war against space raiders. Instead of returning to Earth, Liam chose to stay. He didn't like big cities or loud people, loved plants, peace, and the beauty of nature. The Zerli people allowed him to take care of the palace gardens. No other human had ever been allowed this close to the royal home. Every day, Liam worked alone. He planted, trimmed, and watered the rare alien flowers. Some opened only when music played. Others danced with the wind. But Liam's favorite flowers were the lunabells, blue glowing petals that only bloomed at sunset. He thought they were the most beautiful things in the galaxy, or so he believed. One evening, as Liam knelt to trim the lunabulls, he felt someone watching him. He turned and looked up. On a high balcony stood a tall, elegant figure. She wore a long golden robe, her skin a soft violet with shimmering patterns like moving stars. Her silver crown sparkled in the fading light. Her long dark hair moved gently. In the breeze it was Queen Thalara, ruler of the Zereli Empire. Liam quickly bowed his head, unsure what to do. He had never seen her this close before. She was known to be powerful, wise, and distant. The people worshipped her like a goddess, but she did not leave. Instead, she walked down the floating steps toward the garden. The guard stayed behind. Her footsteps made no sound as she approached. "You are the human gardener," she said softly. Her voice was calm but strong. It sounded like music. Liam stood up slowly. "Yes, Your Majesty." She looked at the lunaballs around them. "Take care of these flowers." "I do," Liam said, wiping his hands. "They bloom only at sunset. If the soil is too wet, they close. If it's too dry, they die. They're delicate." Thalara touched one of the glowing petals. "They are rare, even on Zorelia." Liam nodded. "Yes, but they remind me of something." The queen raised an eyebrow. "What do they remind you of, human?" He hesitated, then smiled softly. "Something kind, something soft, but strong. Something beautiful, but not proud." Queen Thalara was silent. She looked at Liam with eyes that sparkled like the stars. "You speak like a poet," she said after a pause. Liam blushed. "Not really. I just notice small things." The queen sat on the stone bench near the flower bed. She looked tired but peaceful. "Do you miss Earth?" she asked suddenly. Liam was surprised. "Sometimes. I miss the trees, the smell of rain, my mother's voice. But these gardens feel like home now." Thalara nodded slowly. "Most aliens who come here never stay long. You are ... different. Just like quiet," Liam said, "and plants don't lie." The queen looked up at the sky as it turned dark. 2 moons began to rise. The lunabells glowed brighter, lighting up the garden in soft blue. "Why do humans give flowers to people they love?" she asked. Liam smiled. "Because flowers are short-lived, and they don't last forever. That makes them special. Like moments. Like love." The queen seemed to think about his words. She looked around at the garden, at the soft lights, the peaceful air, the gentle breeze. Then she stood. Her long robe shimmered as she moved. Liam stepped back politely. Before she left, she turned to him. "What is your name, Liam?" He said, "Thank you, Liam, for your care of this place." He bowed slightly. "It's my honor, Your Majesty." Began to walk away, her form glowing under the moons. Then, just before she disappeared up the stairs, Liam looked down at the bench. A single lunabelle had fallen, glowing gently. He picked it up and placed it where she had sat, with a shy voice. He said, "You're more wonderful than those flowers." She stopped. The words hung in the air. The queen didn't turn around. But after a long pause, Liam saw something he never expected. A smile. A soft, quiet, honest smile appeared on her lips. Then she walked away, her steps light as feathers. Liam stood alone in the glowing garden, heart beating fast. He didn't know what would happen next, but he knew something had changed. After that sunset in the garden, something changed between them. Queen Thalara started visiting more often. At first she came alone, always during the evening when the lunaballs began to glow. She said very little in the beginning, only asking about the flowers and their care. Liam always answered simply, never showing off, never pushing. He treated her like a person, not a ruler. That was new for Thalara. Most people bowed deeply, used fancy words, and acted afraid of saying the wrong thing. But Liam just smiled and talked about soil, water, and sunlight. His voice was calm. His hands moved gently as he worked. He never tried to impress her, and slowly she began to enjoy his presence. One evening she asked, "What do earth flowers smell like?" Liam paused. "Some are sweet, some are sharp. Roses smell like memories. Jasmine smells like dreams. My favorite is lavender. It smells like peace." The queen tilted her head. "You speak of flowers as if they are alive." "They are," Liam said. "They don't have voices, but they feel things. They grow better when you're gentle." Thalara thought about that. She came again the next day. This time, she brought something with her. A small purple flower in a glass case. It was shaped like a star, and it glowed faintly. "This is the royal bloom," she said. "It grows only in hidden caves, and only once every 100 years. Liam looked at it with wide eyes. "It's beautiful. It's sacred," Thalara said. "Outsider has ever seen one. Why show me?" he asked softly. She hesitated. "Because you understand beauty, not just with your eyes, but with your heart." Liam didn't know what to say, so he just smiled. From that night on, the queen stayed longer during each visit. Sometimes they spoke. Sometimes they sat in silence, just watching the moonlight play across the flowers. Liam showed her how to plant a lunabelle seed, how to trim the crystal bushes so they didn't overgrow. Thalara tried it herself. Her royal fingers were not used to dirt, but she didn't complain. One evening, she laughed. It was soft and sudden, like a bell in the wind. She had poked her finger on a thorn, and Liam quickly wrapped it with a leaf. She looked at his worried face and smiled wider than ever before. "You care too much?" she teased. "And you don't laugh enough," he replied. She laughed again, but not everyone was happy. Inside the palace, the nobles began to whisper. They saw their queen spending time with a human commoner, a gardener, an outsider. They feared what it meant. Some thought it was dangerous. Others were simply jealous. One noble, Lord Valor, watched from the shadows with cold eyes. He had once dreamed of marrying Thalara, uniting two powerful bloodlines. But now she ignored him completely. One night, Queen Thalara invited Liam to a place outside the palace grounds. 2 guards followed from a distance but stayed silent. They walked through tall, glowing trees, through a field of silver grass, until they reached a hidden cave. Inside, the air was warm and full of gentle light. Strange flowers floated in the air like tiny stars. "This is the flower cave," she said. "Only the royal bloodline knows of it." Liam looked around in awe. "It's like a dream," she nodded. "I came here as a child when I was lonely. It was my secret world." Liam turned to her. "Thank you for bringing me," looked into his eyes. "You've made me remember who I used to be. Before the crown, before the throne. Just a girl who loved quiet places and soft things." Liam gently touched one of the floating flowers. "Then maybe you're still that girl? Just hidden under a lot of royal robes." Thalara smiled. "Maybe." They sat together on a soft rock bed inside the cave, surrounded by glowing petals. There were no guards, no laws, no titles, just 2 souls, sharing a peaceful moment. For the first time in years, Queen Thalara felt ... free. The next few days passed quietly. Liam returned to his work, planting new rows of flowers, trimming trees, and cleaning the small water streams that ran through the garden. But in his heart, he felt something new: warmth, hope, and fear. He knew the queen was special, not just as a ruler, but as a person. And he knew their connection was growing deeper, but he also knew the danger. Back inside the palace, Lord Valar made a secret report to the Zarelli Council. He showed them an image captured by a spy drone, Queen Thalara gently touching Liam's hand in the cave. The council was shocked, angry, afraid. "This is a threat to tradition," one elder said. "She must be reminded of her duty," said another. "She has promised to the House of Corrin." "This human must be removed," Lord Valar added coldly. The council agreed, but the queen did not know yet. That night, she visited the garden again. She wore a simple dress, no crown, no guards, just herself. Liam looked up from the soil and smiled. "Welcome back." "I miss the flowers," she said softly. He stood and brushed off his hands. "They missed you too." They walked together, side by side, down the stone path lined with lantern vines. Liam told her a story about Earth, about springtime festivals where people danced and threw petals in the air. He spoke of colors, music, and joy. She listened quietly, her heart calm and full. Then she stopped walking. She turned to him. "Liam," she said gently, "what am I to you?" He looked into her eyes. "You're someone who made this place feel more alive. You're someone I never expected to meet, but now I think about you every day." She didn't speak. He added softly, "To me, you're more wonderful than all the flowers in this garden." Her breath caught. For a moment, she forgot who she was. She forgot the crown, the laws, the palace. She just felt, and she smiled. A real, honest, beautiful smile. But in the shadows behind the trees, a pair of eyes watched them carefully. The report was already sent, and soon everything would change. The sun rose softly over the palace gardens. Birds sang in the glowing trees. Flowers began to open their colorful petals. But the peace did not last long. Inside the marble halls of the palace, voices rose. The Zarelli High Council had called an emergency meeting. Lord Valar stood tall before the 12 elders. He wore a dark robe, his eyes cold, his mouth tight with anger. "The queen is losing herself," he said loudly. "She spends her evenings with a human, a gardener." I have proof. He showed them a hologram image. In it, Queen Thalara sat beside Liam. Their hands touched lightly. Their faces were close. She was smiling softly, like a woman in love. Council members gasped. "This is dangerous," Elder Mallorin said. "She is promised to the House of Corrin," another cried. "An alliance needed for peace with the Northern Stars." "A queen cannot love a human," someone whispered. "We'll break tradition." Lord Valar nodded. "She must be reminded of her duty, and the human must be removed at once." The council agreed. That afternoon, Liam was working near the moon pond, trimming long purple vines that hung over the water. He hummed a soft earth tune. His hands were muddy, but his heart was light. He thought of Thalara's smile from last night. It had stayed with him like sunshine. Suddenly, heavy boots echoed behind him. Liam turned and saw 4 royal guards. "You are ordered to leave the palace," one of them said sharply. Liam blinked. "What? Why?" "By the order of the High Council," the guard replied. "Your presence here is no longer welcome." Liam's heart sank. "Did the queen say this?" "No," the guard said. "But her silence is not enough to protect you." Liam stood slowly. "Please, let me speak with her." "Just once." The guards did not answer. One of them grabbed his arm, but before they could drag him away, a voice rang out across the garden. "Stop!" Everyone froze. Queen Thalara stood at the edge of the garden. She wore her royal crown and golden robe. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. "Let him go," she said. The guards obeyed at once. Thalara walked forward, her head held high. She looked at Liam, then turned to the guards. "Who sent you?" "The council, your majesty." Nodded slowly. "Tell them I will speak with them tonight." The guards bowed and left. Liam looked at her, worried. "I didn't mean to cause trouble." Thalara shook her head. I didn't by not standing up sooner." That night, Queen Thalara stood before the High Council. The 12 elders sat high on stone chairs. Your room was large, with glowing walls and long banners of history hanging down. Lord Vaylor stepped forward. "Your Majesty," he said, "you have brought shame by showing favor to a human commoner." Thalara looked at him. "You speak of shame, but I see fear." "Fear?" Elder Malran asked. "Yes," Thalara said clearly. "You fear change? You fear that a queen could care for someone not born into power." "There are rules. There are chains," she interrupted. "I followed every rule since I was a child. I became queen before I knew what it meant to live. But this human, this gardener, taught me something none of you ever did." She paused. "He showed me kindness. Without wanting anything in return, he listened. He respected. Never treated me like a prize or a symbol." Lord Vaylor's voice turned sharp. "So you will break our laws for him?" Lara stepped forward. "I will not break them. I will change them." The room went silent. "I am queen," she said, "by law and by blood. I have the right to challenge tradition when it no longer serves the people." "You risk war with Corrin," someone said. "Then let them come," she replied. "I will not marry for alliance. I will not fake a bond. I choose honesty over fear." Lord Vaylor growled. "Then what of the human?" "He will not leave," Thalara said. "He is under my protection." The next morning, Liam sat quietly in his small garden hut. He looked down at a tiny flower pot. Inside, it was a seed of the lunabelle, ready to bloom. But today, the beauty of the flowers did not cheer him. It felt like a shadow had fallen across his heart. He had heard the council's anger. New things were changing. But he didn't want to be the reason for trouble then. Soft footsteps came from outside. Thalara entered the hut. She looked tired but strong. "You are still here?" "I didn't know where to go," Liam said. "You don't have to go anywhere," she said softly. He looked up at her. "I don't want to hurt your rule." She knelt beside him. "You didn't? You helped me see myself?" He looked away. "They all hate me." "Not all," she said. "Some are afraid, but others are watching, and they see what I see." She took his hand gently. "You said I was more wonderful than flowers," she said. Liam smiled shyly. "I meant it." She squeezed his hand then. "Let me show you something." That evening, a special gathering was held in the central plaza of the palace city. Thousands of Zirali citizens gathered. Lights floated above them. Music filled the air. A festival had been planned weeks ago to honor peace. But now, something new had been added. Queen. Thalara walked onto the crystal stage. She held a glowing blossom in her hands, the rare royal bloom. "This flower," she said to the people, "blooms once every 100 years. It is a symbol of heart, of courage, of life." She looked across the crowd. "Tonight I offer this flower not to a noble, not to a warrior, but to a man who reminded me how to feel." Gasps rose as Liam stepped onto the stage. He wore a simple robe. His eyes wide, Queen Thalara turned to him and placed the royal bloom in his hands. "This is the highest honor of my world," she said, "and my heart is in it." The people were silent, then someone clapped, then another, and soon the plaza rang with applause, cheers, music. Some still watched in silence, but many saw the beauty in it, as they stood together under the stars. "And lights," Liam whispered. "I'm just a gardener," Thalara smiled, "and you just changed a world." The festival night became the most talked about moment in the galaxy. News of Queen Thalara giving the royal bloom to a human spread fast, cross planets, and even to distant alien empires. Some cheered, some were shocked, and some wanted revenge. Inside the palace, the air grew heavy. Many nobles were angry. They believed the queen had gone too far. The House of Corrin, the most powerful Zirali family, was insulted. Their leader, Lord Varix, sent a message the very next morning. You have broken the sacred agreement. We will not stand for this dishonor. Queen Thalara read the message in silence. Her advisors looked at her with worried eyes. They have warships, one whispered. They controlled the trade routes, said another. This could lead to rebellion, Thalara stood tall. Let them try. Meanwhile, Liam returned to his garden hut. The joy from the festival still filled his heart. But now he felt the weight of the queen's decision. He sat by the moon pond, watching the petals float on water. He touched the royal bloom gently, still glowing in a small glass case. He had placed it beside his tools near the Luna bowls. He didn't care about crowns or titles. He only cared about Thalara's smile. But he also knew something dangerous was coming. That evening, Thalara visited him again. She wore no crown this time, only a simple cloak. She looked tired but peaceful. You should rest, Liam said softly. So should you, she replied. Sitting beside him, he turned to her. Is it true? They want war? She nodded. They want me to take back the flower, to send you away, and return to their control. He looked down. Maybe I should go. Thalara reached out and held his hand firmly. No, she said. I have been quiet my whole life, following rules I didn't make. But now, I've found something real. Won't let them take it from me. Liam met her eyes. Then we fight. Thalara gave a small smile. No, we stand, and we let them see who we really are. The next morning, a new ship arrived at the palace. It was a human star cruiser, sleek and silver, with Earth symbols on its wings. From it stepped Captain Reeve, leader of the Earth Peace Fleet that had once helped Zorelia win their war. He was tall, strong, and serious. But when he saw Liam waiting at the gate, he gave a wide grin. You? Reeve laughed. The Queen's heart belongs to a gardener. That's something. Liam scratched his neck. It just happened. Reeve clapped his back. Well, Earth stands by love. That's our message. I'm here to speak with their council. Inside the palace, Queen Thalara welcomed Captain Reeve personally. The two rulers sat together while nobles watched from the sides. Have caused quite a stir, Reeve said calmly. Thalara smiled. I've chosen honesty over tradition. And I respect that, Reeve replied. But the House of Corrin has reached out to Earth as well. They want us to stay out of this. And will you? She asked. Reeve shook his head. No, Earth doesn't stand with threats. We stand with those who protect peace, truth, and gardens. Everyone chuckled lightly. Then his face grew serious. We came here once to help you fight off invaders. We can come again if needed. But I hope this ends without war. Thalara nodded. So do I. That night the Zorelia Council met again. Queen. Thalara stood in the center of the grand chamber. Liam sat quietly in the back, beside Captain Reeve. Many alien nobles stared at him coldly. But Liam didn't flinch. I have heard your anger, Thalara began. I have listened to your fears, you say. I've broken tradition. But I say I have kept the most important part, truth. She walked slowly across the floor. I love my people. I love my world. And now I have found love not in a match made for power, but in a soul who sees me as I am. Lord Vaylor stood up. You shame the crown? Thalara looked at him calmly. How I honor it? By choosing what is right, not what is expected. Another elder shouted, This will destroy our unity. Captain Reeve stood up. If I may speak. The chamber turned silent. I have seen how Liam treats your queen. With respect, peace, and honesty. Earth does not ask for power or control. But if this council forces her to give up her right to choose love, then Earth will reconsider its alliance. The council gasped. Liam whispered, Captain. Reeve just smiled. Relax, it's a peaceful threat. The council leader, elder. Malrin raised his hand. Enough. We will vote. One by one, the 12 elders stepped forward and placed a glowing stone into one of 2 bowls red for rejection, blue for support. Liam held his breath. 5 red stones, 5 blue stones. The chamber went silent. Only one elder remained elder. Cyan, the oldest of all, quiet and wise. He looked at Thyra. "I watched you grow up," he said. "You were kind, curious, and full of light. But we took that light and buried it under duty." He looked at Liam, and now you shine again. He placed a blue stone into the bowl. The chamber lit up with soft blue light. Cheers rose from the crowd. The queen smiled, and so did Liam. After the vote, a new law was announced. The Queen of Zorelia now had the right to choose her heart, no matter the species or background. Cross-species partnerships were no longer forbidden. Some nobles still looked angry, but many in the crowd clapped, even smiled. Citizens from across the empire started sending flowers, letters, support messages. "You've started something bigger than you," Reeve told Liam with a grin. Liam shrugged. "I just loved the way she smiled." Lara appeared beside him, holding his hand proudly. "I want the whole galaxy to see this," she said. 1 week later, a public peace ceremony was held in the royal gardens. Humans and Zorali stood together. The lunables bloomed in full glory. Music filled the air. Lantern vines lit up like stars. Liam stood beside Queen Thalara, wearing a new robe made of soft silver fabric. She wore no heavy crown, only a thin circlet of living flowers, woven with vines from Earth and Zura, a whale. As the final part of the ceremony, she turned to him and said, "Do you choose to walk this path beside me, not as a subject, but as my equal in my heart?" Liam smiled gently. "I do. It's because in every galaxy, every garden, and every dream, there's no flower more wonderful than you." Thalara smiled, and the garden, the crowd, and the stars all seemed to smile with her. The garden was quiet in the early morning. Dew sparkled on every petal. The soft blue glow of the Luna bells shimmered across the stone paths. Birds with glowing tails flew above, singing songs that no machine could ever copy. It was the day the galaxy had been waiting for. The day Queen Thalara of Zorelia would bond her heart to a human. Gardener Liam stood before a long mirror inside the royal guest chamber. He wore a special robe stitched with threads of both Earth and Zorelian design. Round his shoulders were soft green vines that gently moved with life. On his chest was the royal bloom, now worn as a symbol of unity, peace, and love. He took a deep breath. He still wasn't used to being in the spotlight. He'd once lived a quiet life on Earth, planting flowers and trimming grass. Now, alien reporters were speaking his name across stars. Children in distant worlds painted his face. Some called him brave, some called him foolish. But Liam didn't care about fame. He only cared about her. A soft knock came at the door. It was Captain Reeve, smiling with pride. "You ready, lover boy?" It's laughed nervously. "Do I look like a fool?" "You look like a gardener who turned a queen's heart into a garden," Reeve said. "And that's better than any crown." Outside, in the heart of the royal gardens, thousands of people had gathered. Zurli nobles stood beside human leaders, warriors stood beside artists, dancers moved slowly around the flower beds, floating. Cameras recorded everything for the galaxy to see. The garden had never looked more beautiful. Petals fell from the sky like snow. The moon pond sparkled. The flower cave, once a hidden place, now shone with hundreds of tiny lights. It was the perfect place for a new beginning. At the center of it all stood Queen Alara. She wore a gown made of silver and living blossoms. Her hair flowed down her back like a waterfall. A gentle crown of vines sat on her head, glowing softly. Her smile was calm, sure, and full of love. Liam walked slowly down the path toward her. The crowd fell silent when he reached her. Thalara held out her hand. He took it without fear. A voice echoed from the garden's center. "We gather today to witness not a joining of power, but a joining of hearts, not a union of empires, but of souls." Thalara turned to Liam. "Once I was lost beneath a crown. I ruled with calm, but not with joy. Then you came with mud on your hands and light in your eyes. You spoke simply, but truthfully. You gave me something I had never received, honest love." Liam smiled. "And you," he said, "showed me that even stars can be lonely." Gave Me purpose beyond the soil. You didn't see a human. You saw me. Thalara nodded. Together, we choose not to follow the path written for us, but to make our own. The voice called out, Do you both choose this bond freely? I do, Thalara said. I do, Liam replied. The royal bloom on Liam's chest began to glow brighter, its petals opening fully for the first time in history. Ink. A wave of soft energy spread across the garden, touching every flower, every tree, every heart. And then, the queen leaned forward and kissed him gently. It was not a kiss of passion, but of truth, and the galaxy watched in silence, then burst into cheers. After the ceremony, a great celebration began. Music played across the gardens. Dancers from 10 different worlds performed. Children ran through flower paths. Food from both Earth and Zorelia was shared, but Thalara and Liam slipped away. They walked quietly through the garden paths, away from the lights and sounds. Just like in the early days, I never liked large parties, Liam said. Me neither, Thalara replied. But today, it felt right. They reached the flower cave, now open to the public, but empty for this moment. Inside, the floating flowers glowed softly. The petals moved like stars in slow motion. This place feels different now, Liam said. It's filled with new memories, Thalara said. She turned to him. Do you ever miss Earth? Liam thought for a second. Sometimes. The smell of real rain. My mother's garden. But when I'm with you, it feels like home. Thalara smiled. Then let's build a new home together. In the months that followed, many things changed. A new peace agreement was signed between Earth and Zorelia. Other alien races joined soon after. Between planets became easier. Art, knowledge, and culture flowed like rivers. Queen Thalara passed new laws that gave people more freedom to love, create, and explore no matter their background. Cross-species unions became common. Liam helped design new gardens across cities. Using both Earth and alien plants, he became known not as a ruler, but as the gardener of peace. He and Thalara would often walk through the gardens together. In the evenings, people waved, smiled, and gave them flowers. But the couple never let the fame change their hearts. They still planted new seeds with their own hands. They still watched the Luna balls bloom every night, and every time Liam looked at Thalara, still whispered the same words that started it. You're more wonderful than those flowers. And every time, she smiled like it was the first time she had heard it. One night, as they sat beside the moon pond, watching the petals float, Thalara rested her head on his shoulder. Do you think love really changes the galaxy? She asked. Liam looked at her softly. It changed mine. She smiled, and mine too. They sat in silence, as the stars above shone brightly. 2 hearts, 1 garden, in a story that would be told for generations. Not just about a queen and a human, but about the simple power of kindness, courage, and love that bloomed where no one expected it.